In this video, I'm going to be going over Daniel Goleman's emotional intelligence. If I'm honest, it's the reason that I started this channel, because the lessons within the book I found so insightful because they really apply to everyone, but I see it as a particular blind spot for engineers and technical people. Because normally you don't put emotional intelligence and engineer in the same sentence. I'm going to dive through some of the major lessons from the book and let you know my thoughts and why I think you should care about these topics. Let's get into it. If you've been following my channel for a little while, you'll know that emotional intelligence is the core of being a social engineer, because you need to be emotionally intelligent to be able to get ahead in today's day and age, in my opinion. What is emotional intelligence? You need to be able to understand your emotions, regulate them, have empathy with others, and be able to motivate yourself. That's the 4 core tenets. Let's go through them again. Number 1, self-awareness. You need to be aware of your internal emotions at any given time. I found journaling to be the perfect way to start becoming more self-aware. It's as easy as writing down how you're feeling at the end of the day. I know I used to be an emotional robot, or at least that's what, previous partners would tell me. I used to think it was just being stoic, but I have come to realize that it was really more that I was completely unaware of how I was feeling in the moment. And writing things down and trying to become more conscious during the day was really what got me on the path to being much more emotionally intelligent today versus before I started this journey a few years ago. The second step in emotional intelligence, self-regulation. If you're unaware of the emotion, how can you regulate it? This is naturally the second step, because you have to be aware of the thing before you can regulate the thing. Self-regulation is not suppressing. It's being able to see the emotion and sometimes let it pass. So, it's a storm cloud. There goes the storm cloud. Don't try to stop the cloud. Don't try to put a cage around it. That's a fruitless effort. You're just going to spin your wheels and get all angry. So you're not suppressing things. You're not trying to stop them. That's going to be very good even keel for self-regulation. Being able to control yourself in a high-stress situation, which hopefully you don't have too many at work. If you're in engineering, hopefully it's not something where you're in a super high-stress environment all the time. You might have tense moments at meetings, but it shouldn't be a situation where you need to be tense all the time. That leads us to our third thing, number 3, empathy. Once you're self-aware of your emotions and you're regulating them well, you can have bandwidth for empathy. Empathy is being able to really feel what the other person feels. And this gets into some of the other topics, like social intelligence. So once you have empathy, you can work towards attunement, which is sustained empathy. And this is a way you can actually start achieving deep rapport with a new person very quickly, which is something only someone that is very emotionally and socially intelligent could do. Empathy is taking on something from another person. So if you're unaware of your own emotions, you shouldn't be trying to be more empathetic. And if you're not able to regulate your emotions, again, you shouldn't be taking on other people's emotions. This is why it's naturally the third step in emotional intelligence. Number 4, motivation. Motivation is the 4th step. After you've mastered the first 3 steps, then you can start working towards how to sustain your motivation over the long term. In my opinion, engineers are likely to be quite motivated, and the important thing that I took away from this is trying to take extrinsic motivation, so things that you're getting your motivation extrinsically from outside yourself, and trying to turn it into something more intrinsic, where you have the fire in you already. So extrinsic motivation can work in the short term. It can work very well. I would say extrinsic motivation is kind of like using shitty fuel in your car. it could work. It could work very well. You know, if it's, you know, shitty race car fuel, maybe it'll work well. But over the long term, you don't want to be using that type of fuel. You want to be using the fuel intended for the car, which is intrinsic motivation, in my opinion. These topics I will be bringing up on the channel over and over because I think emotional intelligence is one of the core parts of becoming a very well-versed and qualified engineer. Do you think I'm on the right path? Do you think emotional intelligence is important? Drop me a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Or if you just completely disagree with me, go ahead and chuck that in the comments too. I'm interested to hear what other people have to think, because it's something where I can't be the only person that thinks this way. But I think Daniel Goleman's onto some like absolutely great stuff, and I look forward to giving you reviews of all of his other works soon.